Hello and welcome to this latest episode of my think tank. We're reacting to comparisons in between Europe and the United States, and as an ex-European and contemporary American, I have certain personal insight or interest into that issue. So, without much further ado, let's hit it.
What's going on, guys? JPS back for another video, and today we're going to be reacting to how do Europe and the United States compare. So Europe and the United States are always being compared as to what's the better place to live, or who's doing this or that better or worse. And I've always thought, how fair of a comparison really is it? Because you're comparing one country to a continent. And I'm not saying that like, oh, Europeans, like, oh my God, you guys are all these different countries and you still are comparing yourself to one. Like, though, that's not the point. It's just, like, what are we really, like, is it really fair to draw any conclusions or comparisons based on those two, like, places? I can't even say countries. That's what I'm saying. So in this video, I think we're going to look at a few different factors, statistics, things like that, where we actually take a in-depth look at Europe and the United States from a numbers point of view, instead of anecdotal evidence and, oh, I lived in blah 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 and it was like this. No, let's see what are the facts here. So
oh God, looking
different
at facts.
Type of video maybe in that sense, but very interesting nonetheless. And I'm really excited to get into this, because this is something I'm always thinking about, since, you know, my channel is kind of based on this. What's the comparison really like when you actually compare, you know? So yeah, hit that like button, guys, hit subscribe, and let's get right into this.
Europe. One continent, 44 countries, according to the UN, and 746 million people. The United States are part of North America, only one country with 329 million people, less than half of Europe. The United States are often compared to the European Union or Europe as a whole a lot of times. So in this video, I thought it would be interesting to take a look at a few indicators and check how it is that they in fact compare. We've already covered
European Union is not Europe, or Europe is not European
but
Union.
What about size?
So
the United States have an area of around 9.8 million square kilometers, while Europe has a size of around 10.5 million, although this can vary depending on which limits you attribute to the continent. So now that we've covered all of those basics, let's jump into a few specific indicators and find out how the two compare. First, comparing the latitude. It's very interesting to see the overlay of the European cities on top of the US territory and vice versa. For instance, as stupid as it may sound, I had no idea Reykjavik was as further north as northern Canada. The same applies to Oslo. It makes sense that Portuguese and Spanish cities are on the same level as California, at least climate-wise, but it's weird, for instance, that Ankara is at the same level as Delaware. For some reason, I always thought it was so much further south. It's also strange to see that Los Angeles is on the same latitude as Algeria in North Africa, or that New York is at the same latitude as Azerbaijan. Speaking of Portugal, Spain, and California, how do the US and Europe compare when it comes to the hours of sunlight they get every year? Through this map, we understand that the Southwest USA gets more hours of sun than anywhere in Europe, over 3,500 a year. And unlike Europe, there's nowhere in the US that gets less than 1,800 hours of sun, as is the case in many areas of Europe, those in light green, blue, and dark blue. It's also odd, at least to me who isn't an expert on this matter, how the amount of hours of sun isn't directly related to the latitude of the region. I always assume that the closer to the equator you are, the more hours of sun you get, but we can see on this map that this isn't the case at all, even though we can tell that usually southern areas get more sun. If you know which other factors determine hours of sun.
I'm not sure about that, but this is pretty crazy here. It's like, sunshine duration is very, very important. Look at Britain.
Yeah, I hope my British friends won't find it, they wouldn't mind what I'm going to say, but I was really surprised how transparent their skin is. So there should be another race added, like transparent people, especially for Brits.
Especially up here, no sun whatsoever. That is just, it's pretty shocking, honestly. I didn't know it would be like that. Okay. Okay. It's interesting.
Son, let me know in the comments. Another interesting topic is human development. The United States and Europe are arguably two of the most developed areas of the world. This map compares the Human Development Index of each US state and each European country. In case you don't know, the HDI is calculated as the geometric mean of life expectancy, education, and gross national income per capita. Assuming that those indicators are representative of the quality of life of people, it seeks to measure precisely that. In the United States, there's only one state that doesn't make it into the top 3 HDI categories, Mississippi. When we look at Europe, only a handful of countries are in the top ranking: Iceland, Norway, Sweden, Ireland, Denmark, Germany, Netherlands, and Switzerland. And when you look at Eastern Europe, these levels go significantly down, with many countries in the lowest category, such as Ukraine, Turkey, Serbia, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Albania, and North Macedonia. In Western Europe, Portugal is the
That's enough. That's enough. It's really, really boring statistics that I'm not enjoying at all. And my whole attention is enjoying these. So enough of this one. Okay. And I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you. Bye.